Leviticus 11:44. Holiness from the Lord and the Spirit, one and the same. I am the Lord your God. Consecrate yourselves and be holy, because I am holy. Leviticus 11:44. But just as he who called you is holy, so be holy in all you do. For it is written, Be holy, because I am holy. 1 Peter 1:15-16. These passages, one from the Old Testament and the other from the New Testament, echo the same divine command to holiness. Leviticus attributes this call to the Lord, while Peter ties it to the Spirit's work. How can holiness be commanded by the Lord and imparted by the Spirit unless they are one? Let's dive into the theological depth of Leviticus 11:44 and 1 Peter 1:15-16 and explore their implications for skeptics and believers alike. 1. The context of Leviticus 11:44. Leviticus 11 emphasizes Israel's call to live as God's holy people, distinct from the surrounding nations. God's holiness. The Lord's character is the basis for the call to holiness. Consecration. God commands his people to set themselves apart for his purposes. Divine authority. The Lord speaks directly, emphasizing his sovereignty in defining holiness. Challenge. If holiness originates solely from the Lord, how can the Spirit be involved unless they are one in essence? 2. The call to holiness in 1 Peter. Peter reinforces the command from Leviticus, attributing the call to holiness to the Spirit's work. Empowered by the Spirit. Peter emphasizes the Spirit's role in sanctification. 1 Peter 2. Consistency. Across Testaments, Peter directly quotes Leviticus, showing continuity in God's call to holiness. Holiness in action. The Spirit enables believers to live out God's holy standard. Challenge. How can the Spirit empower holiness if he is not fully divine and one with the Lord? 3. The unity between the Lord and the Spirit. Both Leviticus and 1 Peter reveal the unity between the Lord and the Spirit in calling and enabling holiness. The Father commands holiness as the sovereign Lord. Leviticus 11:44. The Spirit imparts holiness and sanctifies believers. 1 Peter 1:2. The Son fulfills the call to holiness through his life and sacrifice, making holiness attainable. Hebrews 10:10. Challenge. If skeptics deny the Trinity, how do they explain the seamless interaction between the Lord and the Spirit in these passages? 4. Holiness as a divine attribute. Holiness is a defining characteristic of God, shared by the Lord and the Spirit. Exodus 15:11. Who among the gods is like you, Lord? Who is like you, majestic in holiness? Isaiah 6:3. The seraphim declare, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. Romans 15:16. Paul calls the Spirit holy, emphasizing his divine nature. Challenge. If holiness belongs solely to God, how can the Spirit impart it unless he is God? 5. Counter-arguments and responses. Skeptics may argue that the Spirit is merely a force or representation of God's power. However, personal attributes. The Spirit is described as teaching, guiding and sanctifying actions that require personhood. Biblical consistency. Both the Lord and the Spirit are consistently depicted as holy and as the source of holiness. Challenge. How do skeptics reconcile the Spirit's divine attributes and actions with their view of him as a mere force? 6. Why this matters. Understanding the unity between the Lord and the Spirit in calling believers to holiness has profound theological and practical implications. God's relational nature. The Lord's call to holiness reflects his desire for a relationship with his people, made possible through the Spirit's work. A unified call. The consistent message across Scripture reveals the harmony within the Godhead. A call to action. Just as Israel was called to be holy, believers today are called to live set-apart lives through the Spirit's empowerment. Challenge. If skeptics deny the Spirit's divinity, how do they explain his role in sanctification as revealed in Leviticus 11:44 and 1 Peter 1:15-16?